This book has an educational section at the end, which explains Japanese honorifics. That's great, but the characters don't use honorifics in this book. I wonder why it was included. I also wonder why it wasn't included for any of the other books in the series.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
The first 2/3 of the book are a case called Turnabout from Heaven. Maya is throwing a beetroot party, only Pearl thinks it's an engagement party. That pun makes more sense in Japanese. Pearl found a cute cat. When looking for the owner, our heroes stumble across a crime scene. A buckwheat noodle magnate named Buck Wheatley was murdered. And yes, this case reminds me of the buckwheat case from Game 6. The victim's daughter is Diana Wheatley. She thinks the killer is her mother, who was in the house that night. The problem is that her mother died 16 years ago, shortly after a kidnapping incident. Diana recaps the two-scene kidnapping incident at length 3 different times in the story. Edgeworth is the prosecutor. He reveals someone put buckwheat flour in the victim's medicine. He had a severe allergic reaction and died instantly. 2 other people know about the allergy. Dr. Dreama must be innocent because she gave the victim 8 packets. He had 1 medicine packet at lunch and didn't die, therefore they weren't all poisoned. Well, I disagree. She could have poisoned just 1 of the medicine packets, not all 8. The police are still checking the other packets. Typical Phoenix Wright. We're not done checking the evidence, but we'll use it in a murder trial anyway. The other suspect is cleared because the victim kept the medicine in a fingerprint lock safe. In a real Phoenix Wright game, I think a lot more would have been done with this character. Dr. Dreama confesses she occasionally fills medicine packets with flour as a prank. She worries she gave the victim the wrong packet by accident. She tries to brush aside the argument that the victim took medicine with lunch, but Phoenix finds a contradiction in this testimony. Edgeworth demands a verdict, but Phoenix demands to hear more testimony about the defendant's dead mother. Edgeworth laughs and says, "Sure, why not? It can't possibly have any bearing on this case." Dumb move on Edgeworth's part. As usual, Phoenix has an amazing turnabout. He realizes Diana mixed up the 2 parts of her kidnapping story. In reality, the 2 incidents happened in the opposite order. Meaning she wasn't saved from a kidnapping by her mother, she was saved from her kidnapping mother. See, the mother who died was actually her stepmother, only nobody knew it. Dr. Dreama is forced to admit she is secretly Diana's biological mother. She removes her fake wig and glasses, and unless I'm mistaken, she grows much taller. Dr. Dreama confesses she did try to kill the victim, but no, Phoenix can't convict a loving mother character. That would be cruel. So we get the final plot twist that she accidentally switched powdered cat milk with buckwheat flour. This feels like a last-minute cop-out to exonerate her. In reality, she would be convicted of attempted murder. Just because she messed up her murder attempt, that doesn't make her innocent. The real killer is the victim's cat. Cats normally get powdered milk inside their owners' mouths, right? Only in this case, the white powder was poisonous. At least the victim died doing what he loved, hugging his cat. The second case is Turnabout Gurgitation. And yes, I had to look up that word. It means violent boiling liquid. I think it's a nice way of saying vomit without using the word vomit. Pearl and Maya are watching a TV show where people compete to see who can eat disgusting food the fastest. Today they're eating Mr. Eldoon's spicy noodles. Milo Fairplay wins. In the middle of his victory speech, he falls over and dies from poisoning. Producer Carl Caesar hires Phoenix to investigate. He learns 2 red herring suspects were eliminated in the first round of the show. The contestants in the second round were the victim, Muscles the strongman, and Eco the ecologist. Maya asks why they ate noodles instead of the pork soup that the show advertised. Carl refuses to answer. I haven't seen a Carl dodge a question like that since the time Maya asked, "What's the difference between the burgers at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.?" There's a memorial service where we learn the victim always gave himself the largest portion of food during competitions. Muscles and Eco both indicate they have a big secret, which will surely be revealed during the trial. The show's goofy announcer, Kevin Hattori, is arrested when the police find poison in his locker. Plus, he's the one who handed out the food bowls to the 3 contestants. Only he could have ensured the poison would reach the correct target. Not to mention his headband has "hot-blooded" written on it. Clearly, he's a violent maniac. Objection, Your Honor! That headband just shows he's a fan of the band Foreigner. The prosecutor in the trial is some guy named Winston Payne. I have no idea who he is. He must be an obscure manga-only character. He presents a threatening note found at the crime scene, which indicates the murder was planned. Eco testifies. She claims the threatening note was sent to her. She was the killer's true target. The only reason she didn't die is because the victim switched bowls with her right before the competition started. Phoenix knows there must be another secret the producers are covering up. The end. Postbook follow-up. I like these stories. They're like cases you'd have in the Phoenix Wright games, although far more straightforward. That said, they're definitely more like Case 3 filler case than Case 5 grand finale case. The first case has a stronger, more emotional story. Like I said, the ending is a bit of a cop-out, and it is odd the characters keep insisting dead women can't come back to life, when Maya and Pearl bring dead women back to life all the time. The second case has more comedy, making it less serious. Let's get real, you know a case is not going to be a finale case if the prosecutor is Mr. Payne. On a positive note, it has far more characters than the first case. You can kind of solve the case now, but not really. The vital clues are... well, I'll get to that in the next volume. I give Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Volume 4 an 8 out of 10.